Somber new pictures from inside the U.S. Supreme Court right here. You can see the section of the bench directly in front of the late Justice's chair, draped with black wool, part of a tradition dating back nearly 150 years. On Friday, the Justice's body will lie in repose in the Supreme Court's Great Hall. It is a solemn honor for a man who is remembered for loving life and laughter. Here now in his first interview since his father's passing, Justice Scalia's oldest son, Eugene Scalia, a respected attorney in his own right. Gene, thank you so much for being here. Our condolences on the loss of your father.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Thank you for having me.
How do you think you and your family will remember him, and how do you think he'd want us all to remember him?
As I think you've heard others say, he had such a breadth of character. He was, at one and the same time, an extraordinarily intelligent person, obviously, but very funny. He loved opera on the one hand and hunting on the other. We certainly, in our family, the children and my mother, remember his humor, his warmth, his example. He was my father.
This is the two of you.
That's right. That's a picture of my law school graduation, and some in our family age more gracefully than others, but that's right. My graduation from law school, which was obviously a very important moment for me to have my father there with me. In terms of how others might remember him, you've had Senator Sessions and Judge Starr talk about his legacy as a judge, which is very important to our family. He had a very strong view of the role of the court, the role of the Constitution, the court's importance, but also its limited role. And hopefully that's a lesson that he will bequeath to the country. I hope you don't consider me selfish in saying that we like to think that part of his legacy is us. I'm one of 9 children, and he was very proud, as my mother is very proud, of their 36 grandchildren.
He had a great sense of humor, and we talked a bit about, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and how much she loved him, even though they were so very different. They had sat on a lower court together, and she used to talk about how she would react when she read his dissents, which were just always so biting and awesome and strong and fun to read. And she'd talk about how, as annoyed as you might be about his zinging dissent, he's so utterly charming, so amusing, so sometimes outrageous, you can't help but say, I'm glad that he's my friend or he's my colleague. Do you think, knowing your dad as you did, do you think he'd be caring what others are saying about him? Do you think he'd be caring about the nasty press or any of these remarks we've gone through?
I think he got used to that. Let me say, first of all, that what has really struck my family and me and meant so much is all the wonderful things that have been said about our father over the last few days, including by Justice Ginsburg, who was a very close friend among others. It's meant a great deal to us. What we've suffered is what everybody suffers eventually, losing a parent, but to have so many people saying so many wonderful things is a special blessing. We certainly appreciate that. And the prayers as well. In terms of what people are saying about his jurisprudence, like I said, he kind of got used to grief on that, and what he cared about was the opinions that he wrote and joined, and getting it right as a judge, and that's what mattered. And I don't mean to be disrespectful in saying that whether people agreed with him or not in the media or elsewhere wasn't really very important to him.
Gene, I'll tell you a funny story before I let you go. I was a young reporter covering the Supreme Court, and I idealized him as a brilliant legal mind. We, of course, read all of his opinions and dissents when we were in law school. And I saw him at Chief Justice Rehnquist's funeral that I was covering for Fox News, and he was walking right over to me, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. I'm actually going to meet him. Maybe he's seen my coverage. Maybe he knows me from Fox News. Maybe he's going to say that I get it, right? And he comes right up to me, and he says, Miss, would you please take a picture of me and this man right here? Here's my camera. Oh, oh, wait, this isn't that moment at all. But you were the lucky one, his son and yourself, a brilliant lawyer. And in fact, people say that Gene may even be smarter than Antonin Scalia was, which is saying something. Thank you for spending the time with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
All the best to you and your family. See that? I mean, think about that. Think about that Ginsburg-Scalia relationship and what message that could send to our country. Look how they did it. Because Scalia used to say, if you can't get along with a colleague, despite the fact that you have these deep disagreements, get another job. And, you know, you could take that, you could extrapolate that to a lot of situations in our country today. Good for them. A true public servant.